Later this month marks the 50th anniversary of the Stonewall riots, largely considered to be the start of the LGBTQ movement for civil rights. And with DC Pride happening throughout the area this weekend, we speak to the author of the newly released book, Out in Time, The Public Lives of Gay Men from Stonewall to the Queer Generation. Author Dr. Perry Halkitis joins me now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So there's been so much talk, of course, with the anniversary of Stonewall and, of course, Pride weekend here in D.C., but this is something you say we need to celebrate all year long.
Yeah, I think that, in this country, we need to represent and celebrate every group every single day. History in our country has been told from one perspective, often a white male perspective.
Right.
We need to celebrate LGBTQ people, people of color, immigrants, and so Pride is a celebration that I, as a gay man, and other LGBTQ people do celebrate every day of their lives.
Well, and I think, too, it helps others that may have not come out yet or are wanting to come out, because everybody's story is so different. So to be able to freely feel like you can share that story, that's only going to support the next person in line.
Yeah, I often say that it's incredibly important that we normalize being a gay person, right? So that, so that I, as a gay man who's 56 years old, am a model for those who are 20 who may be struggling with their sexuality and trying to tell their parents and their communities.
Now, the generation within your book, you're speaking of 3 different generations of gay men, right?
Correct.
So what have you seen in just the change from when we really kind of started talking about it with the Stonewall era to now?
Yeah, absolutely. There's been remarkable socio and political change. In the 1960s, gay men would get arrested. In 1974, we finally have the American Psychiatric Association telling us that homosexuality is not a mental illness. Then, of course, we have AIDS, which catapults, the community into the center of American life. And then we have marriage equality. So things have improved over the last 50 years, although one could argue in the last couple of years things have taken a few steps back. But the psychological process, the consistency of feeling like you're different from everybody else, that's pretty consistent across time. And that's the idea that I really explore in the book.
Okay, so the political socioeconomic has changed, but you say some of it has still really stayed the same.
Correct.
When we're still learning to accept and learning to be brave and have the courage. Now, this weekend with Pride in DC, what do you want us here to go out and celebrate? What do you want us to go out and see and be a part of?
I want us to celebrate all the things that LGBTQ people have given to this country. I want us to celebrate the fact that LGBTQ people keep this country running like every other American. I want us to celebrate that we are equal players in every arena, but I also want us to be active and vocal in our fight for our ongoing rights, that we cannot be complacent at this point in time, or our rights will slowly be chipped away.
Now, I know coming up is Pride Week in New York. It's usually a little bit crazy, especially with the anniversary. You're getting out of town for this one.
Yeah, as a New Yorker, I've done my prides in New York.
Right.
It's time to go to the beach that weekend, I think.
There you go, there you go. Enjoy it this weekend here in D.C., New York. But with your book, Out in Time, what made you want to write this?
Yeah, so the book is inspired by the experience of my nephew. My nephew, was an 18-year-old man. He came out to me and my husband. For all intents and purposes, his coming out should have been easy. My family loved me, they accepted my husband. There was never an issue in my big, loud Greek family, right? So we would think that James is his name, would have an easy time, but he struggled. And what it made me think is that if this young, white, upper middle class man who has a family who supports him is struggling, what is the case for men of color? What is the case for men who have limited means? What is the case for immigrants? And that's what I wanted to do, to say that it's better, but it's still not great. And so we have to continue to work towards normalization so that we don't see sexual identity.
Well, and you were writing this book was for the general population, and it has really taken off.
Yes.
I mean, it has gotten great praise. And what's that from your perspective feel like?
Yeah, so it's kind of mind-blowing, actually, right? So I'm an academic. I write research articles. I've written research articles for like 20-something years.
Right.
The same 12 people read that. So when I write a book, and and this is what I think is like hugely impactful. I want people to read this book, people who might not normally think about these issues, and I wrote it in such a way so that everybody could read it. So it's amazing.
Well, thank you for bringing that to us, Dr. Perry Halkitis. We appreciate it. The book is out in time, The Public Lives of Gay Men from Stonewall to the Queer Generation. It is out now, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
We'll be back after this.